Yes, hello everyone from a very dark, horrible minging day in Birmingham. It is absolutely chucking it down. But this is the last word when Newcastle are through at the next round of the FA Cup. Yeah, hello everyone. Bit of a disaster the day, right? Met up with the lads going in. They went to the toilet. Then I thought, right, well, I'm going to do some shots for the vlog. I seen Sam, Johnny, Chris and Carl queuing up for a drink. And I thought, well, I'm not doing that, so I'm going to go and run and film some shots, and I didn't see them again. Now, bear in mind, my phone went to 3%, and I've got a dodgy USB into my phone, so I do it wirelessly, so it takes forever. So anyways, I had to charge my phone up, which was taking forever, and obviously I used the DJI to vlog now, rather than my phone. Signal was in and out, so I just thought, right, lads, I'll do the last word in the car, rather than dark, cold, getting rained on, and not being able to see one another. So here we go. This is what you get. This is me improvising. But obviously Newcastle are through to the next round. More than that, we'll have them anyhow a little later. But obviously we were all expecting a lot of changes, weren't we? Let's have a look. 9 changes from the win in midweek against Arsenal. Bruno kept his place and Dan Burn, they were the only 2. I was a tad surprised both Willock and Callum Wilson started. Willock has now been used a couple of times at right wing. He started there and Callum Wilson up top. Great to see Wilson back and scoring, and just hopefully we can keep him fit because he's a great player. He's a good goal scorer. He scores 1 or 2. Keep him fit. We'll be fine. And obviously Birmingham with a lot of experience themselves with Grant Hadley. They've just signed former Toon defender. They've got a lot of Japanese stars. They've got a lot of ex-Premier League players who've been squad players whilst they were there in the Premier League. But obviously Birmingham flying top of League One. They're going to come up with no doubt. Spend big. They'll be in the Championship again next season. And can they go on and kick on? That's a big thing. Fantastic support at the beginning of the match. Good banter between the 2 sets of fans, giving it one another. Really enjoy that. That's what football's all about. Harmless fun. I like that between the 2 sets of fans. It was good. But so the game kicks off and we're already 1-0 doing, and it's like, what the hell's happened after 46 seconds or something? We're 1-0 doing, and it's a free header, and then the other player stabs it, hits off Callum Wilson again, saying we're 1-0 doing, and can Newcastle come back and react? And it didn't take too long. We did score, which I have to say the goalkeeper, Peacock Farrell's an awful keeper. He's awful. He's behind the line, and it's quite clearly over the line, and the referee's buzzing. Now, at the time, we didn't know what happened. We thought he flagged offside, and originally the linesman, because it's at the end of the pitch, I'm like, what's happened? But it's given, and then we've obviously realised it's because it's over the line. I've seen back at half time, so that was good. That we've got the goal, we equalised, and then we went in front. Well, actually, before we went in front, I think Stansted, was it Stansfield? Stansted, his name, the lad that the sign from Fulham. He had a free header, and the warning signs were there that look, we don't have a usual back 4 midfield protecting. Except for Bruno, there was gaps there, and I think it's a Premier League. I think it happened twice. If it's a Premier League side, they put one of them away. But Newcastle went in front in comical circumstances. I mean, Willock. Right, from what I can remember, a cross come in, and then the defender sticks his leg out. I think Willock miskicks his own shot and hits off his other leg. It's an open goal, so one of the worst misses you'll see this season. And Callum Wilson's picked up the scraps and said, I'll have that. Put Newcastle in front. It was quite comical. It just sums up Willock, doesn't it? It shows signs of brilliance and then stuff like that. Got a bit feisty with him as well, which is good to see, a bit of aggression. And so it was good. And then, of course, the absolute rocket that it was a great goal, you have to say. It was an absolute beautiful goal. And the Japanese kid, sorry, I don't know his name. He just wallops it. It's a fantastic hit, man. What a hit that is. Unbelievable. No knee keeper saving that. Great goal. Fantastic. Fair play. And then he got it in the break, and it's half two. I think you can tell I'm tired. And he got it in the break, it's 2-2. And then, you've got to come out in the second half as a better team. Eddie Howe's got to get them in the dressing room, give them a bollocking, and then we're gone again. Johnny, what did you think of the first half?
Thanks, Lee. So first half for Newcastle, well, what a start for Birmingham, let's be honest. What a start for the home side, the League One side. 40 seconds in, Birmingham have a corner, and Newcastle just don't deal with it. It's actually dealt with pretty well by Birmingham, if we're being really honest. Float one to the back post, free header, and it was the full-back, the right-back for Birmingham that drilled it in. Slight deflection of Callum Wilson, but Birmingham went 1-0 up. And Birmingham were absolutely firing. You have to give credit to their team, give credit to the players, particularly for how difficult they made it for Newcastle. Let's be really honest, they made it so difficult. The tempo was brilliant, particularly down the right-hand side. That's where Birmingham were getting a lot of joy, and Newcastle really weren't. But you have to say, Newcastle did have a little bit of quality in that second half. Newcastle did have a little bit of quality for 5 minutes or so, midway through the first half. I have to give credit to Callum Wilson, his ball on the left-hand side, cross it to the far post, and Joe Willock on the second attempt put Newcastle on level terms. You have to give credit to Willock, really, because it's debatable whether it goes in or not. The keeper, Bailey Peacock, I'll pass a bit of a hand where he just kind of almost like tries to scoop it away, but there was kind of what's the best way to put it, no real complaints from the Birmingham goalkeeper. I think Newcastle didn't really expect it to be given, but look, Newcastle will take it, of course they will. Nobody in the away end knew what was going on, but Newcastle did make it 1-1. And then just 5 minutes later, it was good work, good teamwork, and Tino Livramento on the overlap. Lovely little pass back towards Newcastle's attacking line, and eventually Callum Wilson kind of scrambles it in, and Newcastle go 2-1 up, and you're thinking, yeah, this is what we need. We haven't played well, but our second string's kind of just about doing enough. But just on the stroke of half-time, what a finish. And I think it's a Carter. I think that's a Water. I think maybe actually probably the correct pronunciation. An absolute scream at a pile driver. No chance for Nick Pope. We were right behind it, 3 rows behind the goal. Unbelievable finish. Yeah, Birmingham and St Andrews went absolutely mental, but it was a fantastic finish. It was 2-2. It was Desmond, but you couldn't really argue from a Newcastle point of view. We weren't doing enough. We were poor on the ball. I thought the midfield was a bit unbalanced. It was more balanced in the second half, and I'll let the others speak about the second half. But first half, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good at all. Emil Kraft, I thought, played well, if I'm being honest, out of everybody that was kind of coming in out of the cold. Matt Targett, I thought, struggled first half in particular, but it was better in the second half. But Newcastle just about got over the line. They had enough. I suppose in terms of their actual quality that got them through, but that first half probably needs a little bit of looking at, if we're being honest, because whoever we get in the next round, it's probably going to be similar players, and they need to buck up their ideas in that particular sense, because it wasn't good enough. And if we weren't playing top of League One, Newcastle might not be in a position where they're talking about a 5th round draw. But I'll hand you back over to Lee, and I'm sure they'll have so much more to talk about, particularly the second half and what Eddie Howe had to say.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Sorry, Johnny, I didn't barely see you. Mental. I don't think I've ever had a weird day like this where there's 4 of NFTV and I've barely seen them all. Mad. Absolute crackers. Into the second half then, it was, I'm not going to lie, it was really dull. Just because the first half was great for the neutral and as a fan, myself as a tune, and surely Birmingham fans will enjoy, but the second half was really poor. Like, it was a lot of injuries. Hopefully the lad that went off isn't, it's not serious with his leg. I think we had an injury at the time as well. It was just, the crowd was flat. Probably the whole stadium, including ours as well as the home. And then you're just waiting for a little bit of spark. There was some substitutions made. Obviously, Dan Burns went off injured. Hopefully that's not too serious. Fabian Schär was on. So we're seeing some subs. Obviously, Callum Wilson was subbed off. That was planned to play an hour. Bruno was obviously taken off at half time for Tonali. That was planned. But I do actually think that the player who probably changed Newcastle's fortunes and give us a bit of strong wit, that makes sense, sensible decisions, was Jacob Murphy. I actually generally think Will Osula is like, he can go past players and back heels and he fall over his own backside. He really could. He fouls our. But Murphy, when he came on, just give us, when Osula went up top, Murphy on that right, just give us a much better balance and a bit of quality from that right hand side. I think he changed a lot of our play in that second half because we turned up the tempo a little bit. We obviously got the goal, which again, it goes for the goalkeeper's legs. You might question, but it is short range, and Joe Willock's obviously scored, and he was on the left wing today, which is an unusual position, but 12 minutes of added time got added on at the end for all the injuries, and really Newcastle should have made it 4. I think Jacob Murphy gets put in by, I think it's Willock again, who plays a brilliant ball. And then Murphy rounds the goalkeeper at a tight angle and it's cleared off the line right in front of us. But the main thing was just get through. Just get through. And we've got a new song now to keep going singing now, because we can do the Tell You Ma, but it needs tweaked until, or should we go on and get knocked out the FA Cup? But it's Tell me ma, put the champagne on ice. We're going to Wembley twice. Tell me ma. So we need to start singing that a lot more until, if we get knocked out the FA Cup. Which hopefully we didn't. You never know. The double could be on. Madness. But obviously the players came out and clapped the fans off. But here is what Sam's thoughts were with that second half.
Yes, thank you, Lee. Back home now. What a sodden Birmingham it was. Look, second half, Tonali came on for Bruno, which was a pre-planned change, let's face it, with how sharing the load with the players that played in midweek. And the great thing about Tonali is the kind of technical ability, the balance he brings aside from that sixth position now, which is established, which is fantastic. It was tough going to begin with. Of course, then Dan Burn going off injured. He's pulled a groin, so Cher came on. Shortly after Cher came on, there was that horrendous knee injury to Leonard, the Birmingham City midfielder, which was a significant delay of around 10 minutes. So fingers crossed he's okay. And the injury's not as bad as first feared, because it did look nasty. The winning goal, that is, came at a time where we were asserting. I think Birmingham had chucked everything at us, and they were wilting a little bit. They were starting to tire and get a bit leggy, and they gave everything. Fair play to them. They'll be in the Championship with Sunderland next season. And they'll probably do, top half, mid-table, something like that. That's what probably, in essence, what we were dealing with tonight, as opposed to, a run-of-the-mill League One side. But yeah, Murphy coming on as well. And obviously, Wilson, great to see him score, great to see him back. 55 minutes in the tank would have done him a treat. Asula, 2 assists for him tonight, is without a shadow of a doubt his best performance for Newcastle United, and his best work came out wide. I don't think he was as effective when he moved into the centre, but look, there's a vacancy for a right winger there. That's his to really grasp the mantle now. That's the challenge for him on the kind of remainder of the season, because hopefully Wilson can stay fit, because he's going to be huge for us if he can, providing that cover. And if he's fully fit and firing, he's still a real quality operator, as we saw today, a real poacher and a complete forward. The winning goal, great to see Willock bag a second. It was getting a bit frustrating, because we weren't, just before that, you could tell something was coming. A goal was coming, but we weren't pulling the trigger. Miley had a little effort where he should have pulled the trigger, but didn't. Longstaff didn't shoot when he had an opportunity. Murphy the same as well, but yeah, Willock pulled the trigger, took the gamble, through the keeper's legs, game over. And we saw us out relatively comfortable in the end, barring that one wonder save from Nick Pope, who didn't have a great game, didn't have a bad game, but it was one of them. But this was Pope at his best, and that was a key save. Old school ground, cauldron atmosphere, and that's what's so great about it. Only 27,000 in there tonight, but they don't need the fireworks at the start. They don't need the flares. They don't need an awful rapper embarrassing in himself before kick-off. They have enough in them within themselves to create a good atmosphere in that stadium. But yeah, look, we got the win. That's what knockout football is all about, and we're through to the 5th round.
Thank you very much, Sam. So yeah, Newcastle fans happy. It was dead weird as well, because just at the side to our left, I've just knocked on the radio there. Just at our side to the left, the BBC had a makeshift box where I think I didn't have to Alan Shearer in there, not the neat, but I've seen that at Oxford before, and I knew it was the BBC. And also I bumped into a couple of regulars who got home and away, and they said that they had to be moved because of that temporary box. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent, but look, the main thing is that Newcastle are through, and we wait the cup draw. It was a potential banana skin. Obviously, Man City had one earlier on today as well, of course. But look, we're through. And I think it's just we just need to get through it this time with all the changes and everything. But yeah, here's what Eddie Howe said.
Mentally, physically, you could see a few of the players were on the edge today, but delighted to get through. It's a great result in the end. I thought it was going to be a difficult night before the game, and then they conceded within a minute. So, we knew that made it doubly difficult because the attitude of, the atmosphere in the stadium totally changed. It was electric at the start. I think we managed to get a foothold in the game and did really well. At half time it was about just staying calmer. I think we were a little bit anxious. Game became a little bit emotional for us. We didn't want flashpoints in it. Needed to be calm and control the game. I thought we did that much better in the second half because in the last couple of weeks we seem to have picked up a couple, and I think that we're at such a key stage of the season that would be the last thing we need to derail us. So we've got such a small squad that's a little bit of a concern today. We missed Sven, we missed Anthony today, and then Dan looks like he's picked up something.
It's absolutely chucking it, dude. All the cars are still waiting to get out, by the way. I'm a massive. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah. Carl, what was your thoughts? And can we go on a run? And also, did anybody shine in that match for a stake for a place at Man City? All yours, Carl.
There were some good performances today. I thought Asula was outstanding personally, and I don't want to disrespect Birmingham by acting and just saying that they were just a League One side, because I thought they played very well today, and Asula did a really, really good job, both out wide and through the middle. I thought he was very, very physical, very strong, very explosive, very quick. He does love a step over. Whether that will be a mainstay in his game, I don't know, but he's not shy about getting a shot off as well. And we were all very pessimistic with regards to what he could offer, I think, from the start, and him not having much game time. But from what I've seen, and I know it's against lesser opposition per se, but there's definitely something there, and you can understand why Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall have made this signing, because there's definitely a ceiling to work with. So I think, I wouldn't say that he's kind of done enough to start in the Manchester City game or anything like that, but he's definitely a contender to certainly be considered for a second half substitution for Jacob Murphy, for example. I quite like the idea of him out on the right hand side, especially with that pace to burn as well in the second half against already tired fullbacks. That would be an interesting look. Obviously, Lewis Miley was outstanding today. Absolutely outstanding. For such a young age, he's got such an old head on his shoulders, and he's just a joy to watch. He really is. I thought he was brilliant, and a great game for him to get his teeth into and try and get a good run of form as well. Bruno, minutes. Tonali was outstanding. Longstaff didn't have his best game by any stretch of the imagination. Callum Wilson got some good minutes under the belt. Joe Willock has obviously got 2 goals and was always battling down that left-hand side. Offers something different as well. So, I'm not expecting him to start over Anthony Gordon, but again, he's someone that allows us allows them all to push each other on and try and improve the quality and the strength and depth that we have. And I know that's not much, but I mean, around the 15-16 that we have, there's quite a lot of strength there. Outside of that, we then start to struggle. Nick Pope, oh God, although he made a fantastic save, his distribution was woeful, absolutely woeful. But I don't want to bash him too much. It needs to be worked on though, or we need to go out and sign another goalkeeper. But yeah, I'm waffling on a little bit. 3 huge games coming up in terms of looking at Champions League football. Manchester City more than capable of turning the screw against us. Of course, we know the quality that they have, and it being at the Etihad as well will make a difference. I know they're not in a good run of form, but it's a great tactical game between Pep Guardiola and Eddie Howe, and something that Man City are more than capable of coming out on top of. But positive signs again today. We did have a second string side out, and we performed well against a very game Birmingham City side who were really willing to press. They didn't come to lie down. They came to win. Fair play to them, and we dealt with it. And it was a really good, resilient win in the end from Newcastle United. So we take positives going into those 3 games. And lots of players did themselves proud today, and will definitely be on the fringe and knocking on the door to be included on the substitutions bench when it comes around to the Carabao Cup final. But yeah, let us know in the comments who you'd like in the FA Cup, if there's anyone that you prefer to get as well, and I'll see you in the next one.
I don't think anyone's warranted a place unless the injury to Joe Linton, because it'll be interesting. Sam mentioned it the other day at Arsenal. It'll be interesting we go back to the 5 away at City and play that, and then I think that is one thing. Or the other thing is, if he goes back to his usual formation, I think it'll be Willock who will come in. I think Asula was bright at times, but you can see he's still very, very raw. Great to see Wilson back scoring again. Great. Just got to try and keep him fit. If buts and maybes with Wilson, though. Of course it is. Miley was bright. I think Miley had a better second half, mind. I think Lewis Miley had a much better second half. I'm struggling to see if anyone comes out and think, right, that was a great performance. I should start next week. It's probably out of the ones that did start. We know that Wilson scores, but look, he's got Alexander Isak ahead of him. That's never going to happen. Probably Willock. Look, obviously, we'll see who we get. I would like a home tie, to be honest with you. That would be lovely. But beggars can't be choosers at this stage of the competition now. We're in the last 16, isn't it? But coming up on the channel, I am staying over in Birmingham. If you haven't seen the vlog, I've done a vlog about all the crowd dancing and the celebrations and what have you. Little Ferdinand appears all the time and the hotel. As I'm going further down south tomorrow, the Lasses are playing Crystal Palace in Sutton. Thankfully, it's not Croydon. Thankfully. It's a nicer part of just outside of London, literally about 4 or 5 miles. It's Sussex. Is it Sussex? I might be wrong. But it's a nice part of the world. And yeah, we'll bring all the stuff with the women with a live watch along and a vlog and maybe 1 or 2 interviews if I can get on the pitch this time. But I feel it's a bit surreal being back at St Andrews. Like twice I've been here, seen the Lasses win and seen the men win. Can't really ask for much more than that, can you? But I love yous and leave yous. Thank you every. I can't speak. You know what? Just like the video. Oh yeah. Right. See yous everyone. Bye bye.